What up, everybody? YouTube Live, how's it going? Mm. I was in the middle of editing my next new video review, but I figured I need to talk about this real quick or share this news with you guys, and then I'll go back to the editing board. Let's see, double check that we are on. As you can see, the thumbnail image is a photo of Joe Manganiello. Magic Mike dude, man. This guy is holy crap, so buffed. Shaped like a Greek god. I need to I need to get on Joe Manganiello. I need to get on Joe Manganiello's workout regimen. So, as you remember, in 2017, the Justice League that Joss Whedon unfortunately screwed up on after Zack Snyder left, Joss Whedon stepped in to finish the movie. And of course, now we're anticipating the upcoming cut, Zack Snyder cut, that arrives next week. So there's been a lot of press about it. People are like talking about, oh my God, what are we gonna see in this 4 hour stuff? Um, but you're gonna definitely see for sure Joe Manganiello back as Deathstroke again. I don't know how. I haven't seen the Zack Snyder cut yet, so I don't know how extensive Joe Manganiello's appearance as Deathstroke is in this new cut compared to the 2017 appearance where he just showed up in the post credit scene and then that's it. It was like a blip. But looking forward to see it. Looking forward to see the Zack Snyder cut. So apparently Joe has been doing press around lately for his other movie. Um, what was that other movie called again? I know it's here somewhere. So he's not talking about the Zack Snyder cut. He's talking about his other movie, Shoplifters of the World. There you go, Shoplifters of the World. Joe Manganiello says, "Hey guys, I'm back. Oh, in honor of Zack Snyder's Justice League and Shoplifters of the World, my old friend Josh and I dive deep into Deathstroke, The Smiths, and much, much more." So, Shoplifters of the World, I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it's set in the 80s. It has to do with the Smiths. So, we're not going to discuss that. But we're gonna discuss the Justice League and Deathstroke, of course. Josh Horowitz is the reporter for MTV. I have a funny story about Josh Horowitz, but I'll tell you later. But before I end this video, so apparently in this podcast with Josh Horowitz, Joe Manganiello revealed that there was supposed to be a Deathstroke movie. There was supposed to be a Deathstroke solo standalone movie, and it says here it was described as an action thriller influenced by South Korean noir films. And it was supposed to be directed by Gareth Evans on a $40 million budget. Gareth Evans, as you know, is the director of the Raid movies. You know, My People, the Indonesian action movie, The Raid, and the sequel. So Gareth Evans is awesome when it comes to action. So the idea of him directing Joe Manganiello for a Deathstroke movie that has the style of a South Korean noir films. I'm like, dude, that sounds amazing. Count me in on watching that. I mean, wouldn't you? It sounds amazing. It sounds great. But in the podcast, he later revealed, and I got some. It's a long podcast. You can check it out on Josh Horowitz' Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. But there's excerpts on the Twitter feed now. So from Uber Kryptonian, he said, "So Walter Hamada shut down the Gareth Evans Deathstroke film, and Todd Phillips, the director of Joker, Todd Phillips said Hamada hated the idea of a Joker solo film, but didn't have the power to stop it. Meanwhile, Joker made over $1 billion, and fans are dying to see a Gareth Evans Deathstroke film." So here's the excerpt. "When the dust settled, it was not seen as a priority to make a $40 million movie about a villain origin story in which you show the backstory," said Manganiello. "The irony, of course, is that a Joker origin movie went on to earn more than $1 billion and earned star Joaquin Phoenix an Oscar." Um, oh, this is Zack Snyder's Dark Side trailer, so we're not gonna discuss that right now. But yeah, I think that's an excerpt from the Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, here it is. So let me read some excerpts here. It says it looked promising for a while, but then that Deathstroke movie got jettisoned after executive changes over at Warner Brothers in the late 2017 and early 2018. Manganiello had more flirtations with Deathstroke after that, before James Gunn boarded to direct this August's The Suicide Squad. Manganiello was also in the mix for a sequel to David Ayer's 2016 Suicide Squad, but I don't think Manganiello ends up being part of the cast of the Suicide Squad. Um, It never happened though. Manganiello did ultimately appear in the Justice League, but a different version, on the scene that's shot by Snyder, who exited the project in 2017. Joss Whedon took over duties. Then they redid the end credit sequence to tease a Justice League 2 in Justice League for the bad guys that didn't happen clearly. Recalled the actor on the scene, which suggested Luthor, Deathstroke, and other villains would team up in the sequel. Wow. Okay, so that's news to me. I mean, but that's cool. So the idea for the post-credit scene of Deathstroke, Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke in the 2017 Justice League movie was to tease the potential upcoming of the sequel titled Injustice League, which focuses on the bad guys, including apparently Lex Luthor was going to show up as well. Finally, Manganiello will appear as intended in Zack Snyder's Justice League, dropping March 18 on HBO Max, and featuring a new scene Snyder shot that includes him alongside Affleck and other stars. So there's a new scene. So it's not just the scene that you saw in the 2017 movie. There's going to be extra scene of Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke that we can look forward to. Manganiello even sports a new cut that was inspired by his original treatment for his Deathstroke movie. There you go. That's awesome. That's really cool. Joe said, in the end of the film, I always envisioned him shaving his head into some kind of uh huh, warlike borderline suicide mission. This is it. I'm going to die like a warrior. I explained that to Zach, and he said, great, let's do it. Um, the DC villain has taken the actor on a roller coaster of a journey, and Manganiello won't rule out Deathstroke being in his future, said the actor. I think there's going to be excitement over continuing what Zach was up to. So that's awesome, right? So Zack Snyder's Justice League cut definitely has resurrected hope for any of us who've been hoping, including Joe Manganiello, hoping for a Deathstroke movie. We're gonna see this extra scene next week when Zack Snyder's Justice League arrives. Um, as far as Walter Hamada, now if you're wondering like who's Walter Hamada, he's the producer, or he is a producer, but he's also the president or the head of DC Films at WB. So any DC films that need to be greenlit, Walter Hamada is one of the powers that be that that give that green light. Like okay, we're gonna go with this project. We're gonna budget this project. So he's one of the guys in charge of the DC movies division of WB, and the revelation about him not liking. Now here's the thing too. This video is not to trash Walter Hamada. Okay, I'm not. And WB has been really kind and generous to be a sponsor, to have been a sponsor for Hollywood Critics Association Awards last week. So Walter Hamada, WB, we thank you for supporting us. So this is not in any way to trash him at all. But I think my theory or my speculation is, I don't know what's in his heart, but I think maybe he thinks that, hey, if we're going with solo Joker or solo Deathstroke movie, I don't know how that's gonna come back to us beneficially. Because he's always thinking about. Excuse me, guys. Because these guys, executives, they always think about return on investment, right? Are we gonna get something in return, box office wise, whatever it is, And I think what Walter Hamada still hasn't fully realized, and we talked about this, you and I, is that in the DC world, excuse me, in the DC world, again, I've reiterated this many times. You can have different rendering, you can have different reimagination, you can have different version of the same character. That's why we're gonna have. That's why we're gonna have Robert Pattinson as the Batman, separate from the DCEU Batman. That's why we're J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates are making a Black Superman movie separate from Henry Cavill, Zack Snyder's DCU. So, this is not Marvel. If Walter Hamada is part of Marvel and he's thinking like, okay, we gotta make sure everybody's and everything is connected because it's a shared universe, then it's probably a justifiable excuse, if he doesn't want to greenlight some projects over the others. But that's not the case with DC, man. You gotta be lenient, Walter Hamada. I'm talking as if Walter's watching this. You gotta be lenient when it comes to DC. DC allows for creative visions to come and do different versions of all these characters, and they're open to all these characters are open to interpretations of any filmmakers that want to take them on another route or on a different path than what we're used to, and that's okay. That's okay. So I still don't know the reason for why he hated the idea of a Joker solo film. I'm just speculating, but obviously, he missed the mark on that one. Everybody loved Joker. How obviously whatever concern or doubt that he had was way off. So his instincts was off on that one. So who's to say that maybe his instincts would have been off as well for Deathstroke? So it's really, it can get frustrating for people like any filmmakers that want to come into or knock on WB's door and it's like, hey, can I take this character and run with it? I have this idea for um, Black Canary, or oh man, I have this interesting take on. Ah, man, I'm so blanking. There's so many DC characters, and now I'm blanking. I was like, oh man, I have this interesting take on Hawkman. Can I run with that? It's like, they should be given a go. It's like, yes, let's hear your pitch. It all should come down to the script. It all should come down to how well their take is. Don't be like, oh, I don't know if we want to give these characters away. What if we don't get box office returns on this one? It's like, yeah, but nobody's gonna want to see Deathstroke movie. Like, how do you know? Like, the fans love Deathstroke. The fans love the idea that Joe Manganiello plays Deathstroke. How do you know unless you give them a chance? So, and by the way, Deathstroke is a fantastic character. Oh my god, one of the most badass DC characters ever. He's sort of like villain slash anti-hero, and you saw him in Titans. I think that guy Esau played him, and you saw him in Arrow. Manu played him. They're both fantastic in that role. And Joe Manganiello fit the part, man. Physically, he fit the part. He just looks so. It's like when you find a piece of a puzzle and you just like boop, you place it and it's like it just fits. That's what Joe Manganiello looks like here as Deathstroke. So it's a shame that the movie didn't happen. Uh, but now, with Zack Snyder's Justice League cut and the interest around it, and everybody's like pumped up about it, and everybody's supporting it, maybe there could be another hope for Deathstroke movie. And I, for one, would be the first in line to buy the ticket to watch that, whether it be in theaters or on HBO Max, what have you. I am so there to watch a Deathstroke movie starring Joe Manganiello. So yeah, so awesome. Let's see. Hopefully this happens. What do you think about this latest info? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think? And what's your theory? And why do you think Walter Hamada was so hesitant about both Joker and Deathstroke movies? What do you think his reasoning was? Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Let's rock this.